sound, please. Roll sound.
Whatever he says.
It's not that, right? Homie the clown.
I got involved with the project in the late summer of 1999. Someone gave me a copy of a primetime live episode with Connie Chung, which was about Aaron Gruel and the Freedom Riders.
I got this Freedom Rider script, and from the moment I start reading it, I felt like I was in the story. The character, Andre, he's, in so many ways like myself.
We found, I think, the greatest group of kids whose lives, coincidentally, or however you want to put it, parallel the real lives of the kids. A lot of it was about their faces and what their eyes and their expressions could bring to the part.
Everything is in the eyes of Marcus. That's how I am. Like, everything is in my eyes. When you talk to me, you can tell. I'm telling you the truth because it's all in my eyes. But we have a lot of similarities, coming from that young man's standpoint of trying to be tough and just feeling against the world.
You hate me?
Yeah.
You don't know me.
I know what you can do. I saw white cops shoot my friend in the back for reaching into his pocket. His pocket. I saw white cops break into my house and take my father for no reason except because they feel like it. Except because they can. And they can.
Ava's character is based on one of the original Freedom Riders who I got closest to. When I saw her in the auditions, she captured it right away.
I understood her struggle. Just any teenager, the struggle every day of just wanting to be heard, wanting to be understood. I totally, can fathom that.
I wanted real kids. I wanted honest performances.
We had a basketball team meeting that day. I told the other guys that were in there, have you seen my brother? He was like, oh yeah, he's somewhere in there. And that's when he called me. He was like, hey, Gabe, this lady over here is talking about, something about a movie, Paramount Pictures, Hilary Swank, and I was like, no way, man. I was like, yeah, all right.
It just sort of happened that way, and it's been a very intense experience.
It's so interesting how these kids' lives completely paralleled the real Freedom Riders, and their stories are just so intense in what they've lived through and what they've survived. That they can live through that, survive that, and still be willing to not become bitter from their experiences or closed off. They made the choice to see the world the way it could be rather than the way they know it to be is really brave.
This is an opportunity for people to actually see what's going on. Someone once said to me, if you want to hide something from minorities, especially African Americans, put it in a book. The only way that people today will ever get any kind of education if you put it on a screen or if it got a high beat behind it.
Like, truthfully, I believe if this movie would have never came out, if this situation would have happened in '94, I wouldn't be here, you feel me? I know I got a lot to learn as an actor, but I feel like I can do this, right? But I would have never, ever, ever had a shot if it wasn't for this movie. And the movie is a kid from the streets, you feel me? That's how I had to get my beginning. And, I know that, but it's all G, you feel me? I'm not even tripping.
The first time I met the actors who are actually playing the Freedom Riders, it was surreal. They look like the Freedom Riders, they talk like the Freedom Riders, and so I think a lot of the issues my students wrote about and experienced could have easily been shared by the actors.
Sure, I was very worried about working with non-actors, and a lot of them, but it all turned out beautifully. They were so into being a part of this, and being cast in this has kind of changed their lives.
I originally wanted to be a nutritionist, and I went to Hunter College, and I needed a class, and I took an acting class, and I fell in love with it, and I left school for it, and that was pretty funny when I told my parents that. I started as a stand-up comedian, did that for about a year. Yes, try that, that's exciting.
This film has been such a big, particularly for me, eye-opener and learning experience. So when I read the script, at first I was like, well, I don't get it, And then as I came in and I met and I talked with Richard, and once we got a copy of the book, then it was like, oh, yeah, so it completely clicked. And at that point, that was when I was like, this is going to be something for me personally as Hunter that I need to be a part of for me.
We had sent the script out. We had been at several studios and had tried to get it set up a number of different ways. and Hillary got a hold of the script. She was very affected by the script, and because of her own background, she felt deeply connected to it.
I had found out that she had read the script and was really interested. And I just started my own one-woman campaign to see if there was any way that we could get her in the film.
And meanwhile, I read her story, and I read the script, and I loved it so much, and I got chills, and I said, I have to be a part of this, I love it so much. And I was having my own campaign and emailing her saying, I love the story, it's amazing, and you still have all those emails you said.
I kept them all.
She really made the movie happen. There are no words to express the gratitude of that and of her performance in it, because she's just incredible.
I fell in love with it immediately. I was inspired and really related to the humanity of it.
I love the fact that she seemed so unassuming and unaffected and genuine. I assumed that she was, she just won an Academy Award and she was probably too big for this. I thought she was perfect, she has the same physicality as me.
Okay, guys, gals, what?
This.
I really felt it in my heart and in my soul that I needed to be a part of telling it. I didn't just want to, I needed it.
When she emailed me, it was like where do I start? Like, how do I respond to her email? Because it was so eloquent and so powerful.
It's so funny that you say that, because I was
terrified. I didn't know.
Wait. I was writing you going, she's a teacher, she's inspired all these people, I don't know where to put all my commas.
Spell check.
Is this a new paragraph? How are you guys?
We look up to her so much as a mentor, and she kind of instantly took on the role of Erin Gruwell in a sort of symbiotic, way like that.
We were doing a scene called The Line Game. A great scene. It's the first time she gets them to really open up to her and to each other by playing this game that shows how much they have in common. To get them into the mood, I played music on the set, and they just started doing this line dance all by themselves, and then they pulled Hillary up. And it just became this wonderful moment. I have some other songs. I want to know what you thought, and if you like these or not. Bring Me Your Love, Delight. In the Mood, CeCe Peniston. These are like dance music. Yeah. Did you listen to Nas?
Yes,
I know what you're up against. We're all of us up against something. I see who you are. I can see you. And you are not failing.
Erin listened to the students. She didn't do any special teaching. She just listened, and she made them have fun. And she made them realize that learning was fun.
So she's like a teacher that comes in, cares for us. She gives us something, we give her something back.
Erin Gruwell is a woman who has a great deal of idealism. She doesn't see the obstacles, she only sees the opportunities.
It's amazing to me how one person can make the difference.
I felt that in some way teaching was the most noble thing that I could do in our own country. And working with kids who oftentimes don't have the best teachers, don't have the best supplies or the best schools.
There are very few teachers who leave a really big impression on children's lives to the point where they drastically change them. But there are still that few left. And she was one of those few that really saw our world, and she did something about it.
She doesn't just care about our schoolwork and what goes on in the school. She cares about what happens outside of the school.
She just kept coming, kept trying new things, kept trying to do this and kept trying to do that. No matter how much we rebelled against her, she just kept on coming.
We're gonna bring them over. Hey guys!
When we met her in person, she's different than the other teachers that I have been taught by. She's very different. She looks at our views on life. She gives us a choice.
So I'm hoping that in the next process to come ahead, that you guys really feel that this is just the beginning, and that you guys are an extension of us. Don't lose this, because this is what the Freedom Riders is all about. It's about finding families and maintaining a family, even if your own family is crazy and dysfunctional. Maintain this moment. So I wanted to make every single lesson relevant to what they already knew, and to create some kind of bridge to validate who they were and where they came from, but also to bring them across that bridge and to teach them that education is this great, liberating force, and it will equalize the playing field, and you don't have to disregard who you are and where you came from.
we get to the point where she kind of grabs our attention. And I think it started with her bringing in the story, you know, about the Jews and the Holocaust.
Would this be funny if it were a picture of you?
It ain't.
When Erin finds this, she is just furious because she knows what this means. That's when she goes into letting us know that, you know, telling us that we're nothing. The gangs in LA are nothing. You know, the gangs in Europe, they took over countries. You know, Adolf Hitler took over countries.
That's how a Holocaust happens.
It was something we didn't even know about. The Freedom Riders didn't know about.
The thing that you said before, the Holocaust?
Holocaust, yes.
What is that?
No one was teaching us anything, no history. So we had no history of this Holocaust. So on top of all the anger going on, it was the first time that we learned about our history. And although they may be Jewish, we all have the same problems.
Initially, I knew that we had to get past exteriors and get to that interior of who we were and where we came from. And I wanted to kind of crack all of their facades.
I think Miss Gruel got an idea, and, you know, she wanted us to really feel where she was coming from with this whole Holocaust thing. So she decided to take us to the Museum of Tolerance. You know, for those who don't know what that is, it's an exhibit here in LA that basically walks you through the whole Holocaust. How it happened, how many people were killed, Jews, kids, the way they were killed, you know, why, and just, it was wild. And that was my first time going there when we did the rehearsal. It was just like, I was speechless when I came out of there. I had no idea another culture, another ethnic background had went through something like that.
It's interesting because the day that Erin went with the kids to the actual Holocaust Museum was a huge, huge bonding day for them. And in our first week, we'd just gotten to know each other. We all went, and it was the exact same experience for us. We all bonded so strongly.
It was the first time they all started talking to each other, and some very, you know, emotional things started happening as they started getting exposed to that story.
It was definitely life imitating art at that point.
There's a tunnel in the Museum of Tolerance, and there's a tunnel that says abled, and there's a tunnel that says children and others. And you got to choose which tunnel you could go through. The ones that said abled was for the old people, and if you went through that tunnel, it led to the gas chambers. The other one led to the, you know, working mills and all that other stuff. I remember the instructor said, you get to choose what tunnel you want to go through. And, you know, we were all like, you know, there was tears coming down our eyes, and we're like, wow. And I went through the abled, which led through the gas chambers. I went through there. When I was walking through there, all I remember was, wow, I have a choice. They didn't. That was deep.
There's a scene in the movie called Toast for Change where they start to open up and say what they'd like to hope for the future, what their change would be.
And what that means is, from this moment on, every voice that told you you can't is silenced.
The Toast for Change was to honor who they were and to wipe the slate clean and to realize that there hadn't been a lot of celebrations in their lives.
Now let's just say this is the moment where we change. Because when you voice is different than just having it in your head. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way, the words she say, dog. She say everybody that says that you couldn't or can't do it, those voices are silenced. That's real empowering. You know what I'm saying? For me personally and for Marcus.
It was emotional because you went through all this stuff to like have the strength to will and go on. And like, it's powerful. It's like, damn.
I am strong. It was like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon and shedding everything that we knew and realizing from this point on, no matter what we do, as long as we believe and hope, we can always make it.
Using the real Freedom Riders' journals and their diaries in this film is what's going to give this film its grittiness and its reality, because it's straight from the students. For me, it was very important to create an environment where my students could feel that they could tell their story without sensationalizing it, without over-dramatizing it. And so we had this process where we created an honor code where I empowered the students to say, if you are to write, what are the elements we need? And creating an environment where there was anonymity. The anonymity was really important because there were so many taboos they were going to write about and controversial issues where they wanted to feel safe.
The journals are a key part of this.
Reading the Freedom Riders journals made me want to express. Reading it, I felt like I just lost a weight off of my back. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I compare. Like when I write in the journal that they gave me, I compare, and it's like the person that I was before to the person I'm being now, and I'm trying to become. Yeah, like just different mindsets and goals, and just things turn out to be different.
I wanted my students to find that power to pick up a pen and to tell their story, uncensored, raw, gritty, but to get it out. And through writing, it would be this very cathartic moment, this liberating moment where everyone realized somehow through writing the story, I can purge it. Maybe I can't change the cast of characters, but maybe I can rewrite the ending. Maybe I can change the destination. Maybe that point A to point B can be different, and maybe my destiny can change because now maybe I'm in charge of that story.
It's brilliant. A lot of times we close up our emotions and our feelings about things and don't get to express them, and so they come out in anger, or they come out in, other things like that aren't healthy. And when you write it out and you have it there for yourself to look at and reflect, you find as you write more and more that you start being more honest with yourself, and you start writing things that really, if shared, can make a difference. And so that's what happens.
I write poems. I write in my journal every single day. I write about what happened, what's going on through my life. And about every 3 months, I go back and I read it. And I look about what I've been through and look where I am now. I've conquered it.
I have my own personal journal. I think it's good for people to write. Maybe not every day, but if something hits you real hard in your life, I think it's good to write down about it so you can just learn from it.
I've heard once that the journey is the destination, and I think we're still trying to find that destination, so it's definitely not over.
It's just crazy how this movie is perfect, and the message in this movie is hitting me close to home, I hope all the movies I do the same thing for my person. Being Marcus is making me a better person.
Seeing the footage for the first time brought me to tears. It put everything that I've done, all the struggles that I've been going through, into perspective.
I feel good about it because I know it brought me out of a hole. That's why I have no negative feelings about the movie.
Things happen for a reason, and thank God I'm here. And now I know what I want to do.
You guys just blossomed right in front of my eyes. Right in front of my eyes.
I just get so emotional when I talk about them because they are amazing human beings. They didn't know me, so they didn't know what to expect necessarily from this. I have to tell you guys before I hug everybody, because I'm gonna hug everybody. You actors, you as people, I've grown so much as a person and an actor because of you. And I learned from each and every one of you every day I was here with you. And even when I wasn't with you, I'd think about you and your spirit and the gift that you have, and I would grow from it. And you made this movie so special. And I just want you to know that I will carry you all in my heart all the time. You are an inspiration, and I want you guys to continue to work this hard in your life and to continue to shine your light, okay? They allowed themselves to open up, and they allowed themselves to fall down, and they wore their heart on their sleeve every day. And they were present, and they were giving.
One of my students always said, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. And I think if we didn't have adversity along the way, our story wouldn't have resonated with so many people. So I think, in a sense, it's a blessing that we had so much resistance and faced so much adversity. And it was so difficult, because through that difficult journey, it made us stronger.
It's just such an inspiration. I think we all have that power if we go within and are willing to face what scares us.